has raised more than $500,000. Microsoft, in addition to helping its own employees in the neighborhood of 2,500 in Japan, is providing $2 million in assistance, including giving technical support to impacted organizations and donating to the American Red Cross. Weyerhaeuser, represented here today, has provided $500,000 to the Red Cross for relief efforts. Nintendo, which recently upgraded their U.S. headquarters right here in our own home state, has donated $3.7 million in relief efforts. The Seattle Mariners are donating collections at several of their games, plus matching $100,000 in fan and employee donations. Our baseball hero, Ichiro, of the Mariners, has already personally donated $1 million to the Red Cross for relief efforts in his own home country. The list goes on, and it will continue to grow. Just today, we got news that Puget Sound Energy will stand up and support and do what they can to help the people of Japan. The opening match of the Sounders game this past week, Mike, my husband, and I, along with 40 volunteers, stood at the entrance of Quest Field with buckets. Those buckets overflowed with the generosity of the people coming into that event. The American Red Cross and several Japanese American groups, some of them represented here today, collected in 1 hour with those buckets over $22,000. So my friends, let us continue in that spirit. In these most difficult times that we are facing here, let us open our checkbooks, let us open our hearts, let us keep the people of Japan in our thoughts and prayers. Let us stand by them and with them, because you know what? If we were in the same situation, I know, Consul General, the people of Japan would be there for us. So as close as we are to them, we must be there for them, not just today, but forever. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Governor. Our experience 16 years ago with the Kobe quake showed that the Seattle and Washington areas were very quick to respond and very vigorous in their response. And I thank you, Governor, for pointing out how quickly Washington responded and how vigorously it has responded and will continue to do so. Our next speaker is Congressman Jim McDermott. As he comes to the podium, I want to point out that in the paper this morning, one of the victims in the tsunami area says, "Please do not forget about us." And I know that that is not something that we are going to do. We will not let that happen. Congressman McDermott.
As I listened and watched on television the other day, as the sites around Sendai City were appearing on TV, for me it was a very personal issue, as well as obviously a national tragedy. When I came to Congress many years ago, Tom Foley put me on an exchange with the Diet of Japan, representing the United States Congress, and I've been to Japan almost every year for about 16 or 17 years. I know many members of the Diet, and one of them, my very good friend, Matsuda-san, was retiring last January, and he said to me, "Now I'm retiring, you must come and see my place where I'm going to retire." So I went up to northern Japan, to the mountains just behind Sendai, and saw his place, stayed with him, and for me on last Friday, it was a question, I wonder what's happened to Matsuda-san. Now, he had taken me out on that bay that you see that's such a mess today. He said to me, "This is the third most beautiful place in Japan." And I said to him, "What are the other two?" And he said, "Well, we never say anything is the most beautiful place." But it was a beautiful harbor, and many Japanese tourists came to that area because of the beauty of the area. So to see it in such disarray after this was really very, very sad, and it took me until Thursday to find Matsuda. He said, "Oh, thank you for calling me. Thank you, thank you." He said, "All of us are safe. There are no cracks in the walls of my house, and we're all safe." But that's not true for an awful lot of people. As you know, in Kobe in 1995, 5,000 people died. The Japanese people did not take international aid at that point. They did it themselves. They came up with the $100 billion to rebuild Kobe. This is a event that is many times greater than that. It's 1,000 times more powerful than what happened in Haiti. It's 350 times greater than what happened in Christchurch in New Zealand. This is the biggest event on the earth, really, in 300 years. It is a hugely damaging event. Moved the island of Japan 37 feet. That's what we're dealing with here, and the bravery of the people dealing with it, I think, are beyond what you could hope for in any people. They have done a marvelous job, and whatever we can do to help them is little enough in recognition of what they've done for themselves. The people I want to focus on just for a minute for you to think about are the workers in those nuclear power plants. People who stay in a situation like that do it because of honor. They do it because they will do it for their fellow citizens, even though it may cost them their life. They know that. And those are the kinds of people that we are contributing to in an event like this. I was last night at the Buddhist church, and they were saying that last night was the first of 7 memorial services. In Buddhism, you have 7, every 7 days you have a service in honoring the dead. They will go on up there every Friday night at 5:30, so if you're free, take a moment, go up to the Buddhist church over by Yesler, and you can participate in continuing. The thing about what Lori just said about, please don't forget it. These things drop off the radar on TV, and people say, well, it must be over, I haven't heard anything about it. This is going to go on for a very long time in Japan, and the contributions that you make through whatever organization you make them will be useful for a long time, and we thank you for it. Our hearts go out to the Japanese people. As was said before, if it were us, they would be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman. Our next speaker is Deputy Mayor Darrell Smith, and as he comes to the podium, I would like to share some good news. When I was in Tokyo, I got a phone call from the host family of my son, Alex. 5 years ago, when he was in high school, he stayed with a family in Sendai. So I was so ecstatic to hear back from Tomoe, the young woman who is Alex's age. She said, our family is fine in Sendai, our house is still standing. We have electricity now, but we don't have water. I said, well, is everyone in the family okay? She says, yes, I was in the office at the time of the earthquake, and I went under my desk, and a wall fell onto my desk. Thank goodness I was there under the desk. I am safe. My mother happened to be close to the seaside at the time of the quake and tsunami. She was on high ground, and she was able to watch the tsunami come in and destroy the shore. So I said, well, do you have food? She said, we have a garden. But folks, it's snowing and it's cold out there. And I don't know what's growing in their garden right now. So I think of them, they face, certainly they're in a better situation than many people, but it's still a very, very difficult life. And so I'm grateful that they are alive. Deputy Mayor Smith?
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I thank everyone who is gathered here today, and the response from the city of Seattle and our community has been truly heartfelt. I bring greetings from Mayor Mike McGinn and all of us at the city of Seattle, and we send our sorrow and our condolences, our great heartfelt feelings for our friends and neighbors in Japan. The mayor is indeed very sorry that he's unable to be with us here this morning. You know, as I look at many of the images that we've all seen coming out of Japan, I'm struck by two personal things for me. One is that my own faith and Buddhist practice was born in Japan some 400 plus years ago, and I think about that on a daily basis. And the other is that in 1989, I found myself as a young, fresh actor in the city of San Francisco on my way to perform at the Oakland Ensemble Theater when the Loma Prieta earthquake hit and was shaken to our foundation in San Francisco, and the city recovered and it came back. But what we're dealing with now here as a world community is so much bigger, and we've all seen those images, and I urge everyone to join with us at the City of Seattle in doing what you can, as the governor has said, to help with whatever finances we can. It's truly a massive, massive problem that the world needs to deal with. So please, whatever you can would be greatly appreciated. The Kobe Bell here at the Seattle Center is an important symbol of our sister city relationship with the great city Kobe, Japan. And the bell is a gift from the people of Kobe. In 1962, it was given to us as part of the World's Fair. And our gift to Kobe was a beautiful totem pole that stands next to Kobe City Hall. This year marks the 54th year of our strong sister city relationship with Kobe, and it's also the 16th year anniversary of the great Hanshin earthquake that happened in Kobe. In January, a much smaller group came together to remember the Kobe disaster and continue to send those messages to our friends in Japan that we will remember them and we will work with them and help them recover. Now, a much broader community stands here today, and we send a message to all of Japan that we feel your pain, we are standing by you, and the city of Seattle will continue to stand by you for many years to come as you rebuild and recover. Thank you all for being here today to gather here at the Seattle Center, Seattle's living room, and remember and to give thanks to everyone who is gathering and working hard to make a difference. I want to give special thanks to all Seattle Center staff here today, the Parks Department, for their strong support in helping to make this event happen. Thank you all for being here.
At this time, I would like to invite Sensei Imanaka. Reverend Taijo Imanaka is from the Koyasan Church, Buddhist church here in Seattle, and he will be offering prayers in memory of those who perished and words of encouragement for those who survived. Those who are leaving Japan, may I add, are very sad to do so. The woman I talked to on the airplane out of Tokyo 2 days ago said she'd lived there for 20 years, and as she turned the key in her apartment door, she was overcome with sadness because she says, I don't know when I'll be able to come back, or even if I'll be able to come back. And it just tore her heart that she had to say goodbye to the country that she loved so much. So at this moment, I would like to invite Imanaka Sensei.
親待って真言教主大日如来屏風会への所存小従総じては真空崩壊の一切参謀の境外に申して申さくつらつらおもんみれば今を遡ること9日前3月11日東北東日本地方マグニチュード 9.0 の大地震大津波の恐れ入り今に至るまで7654名のすでに死せり1万1000